Camouflage and concealment. Let's check it out. Yeah, hello, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for taking the time out to tune in and check the videos out. I must apologise, I haven't done a video for, is it a month? So I've been a bit busy lately, doing other projects at home. So built myself and the family a home gym, and they're currently working on converting part of the garage into meat processing areas. So the idea of that is buying meat in bulk, processing it and making their own burgers, sausages and that sort of good stuff. So that's what I've been doing lately. I did go down to Army surplus place not so long back and I picked up some camo netting. So I've been wanting to do this video now for a while about camouflage concealment, especially vehicles and whatnot. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm just going to drive down the road here and see what I find. There's a bit of a lane here in the woods. It's privately owned, but the owners live miles and miles away. So, and of course, if I do my camouflage concealment correctly, then they're not going to see me anyway, are they? I'm going to go down here. If you think about a scenario where you're bugging out in the vehicle, maybe got your family, and you're driving so far, and it's time to bug in for the night. You don't want to be seen, do you? You don't want to be found. So you've got a way you can camouflage in your vehicle or your tent. So that's what the video is going to be about today. If that catches your interest, something you want to learn about, stay tuned. So it's a beautiful day and a perfect day for doing this. The track is just down here somewhere. So I've got a 4x4 obviously, but you can use the same methods for a car, let's say a tent, even a wheelbarrow if you want. Right, here's the track. There's no one about. Let's go for it. So when I find a spot, I'll call you back. First obstacle of the day. Time to get the chainsaw out. So here we are on a little woodland track just off the main road. Camouflage and concealment then. Just bear in mind, it's a long time ago since I've done this, and there'll be guys out there who are more knowledgeable, well equipped, and done it far more than I have. So while I'm making this video, I managed to get some camouflage netting a while ago, some Army surplus stuff, and I thought that'd be ideal for the vehicle. I remember back in the days we used to chuck the camo net over the 4-tonners, Land Rovers, even our 12x12 tents. So I thought I'd make an interesting video to show how it's done. So the scenario is obviously in a bug out situation. You could be traveling somewhere, you could be going to help someone, you could be on a scouting operation, you could be traveling somewhere and you're broken down and you don't want to be seen. So there's numerous different scenarios where this could apply. So camouflage concealment, what I can remember, there was 6 or 7 S's you have to think about or remember. Shape, shine, silhouette, sudden movement, shape, shine, silhouette, sudden movement, sound, shadow, is it? Smell, shape, shine, silhouette, sound, sudden movement, smell, shadow, maybe. There could be more, they could have changed it, but I think that's more or less it. And not just for your person, obviously this comes in with your person as well, if you want to camouflage yourself. And it's the same for the vehicles. So take them same acronyms, is it? I don't know what they are. 7 S's, and use them for the vehicle as well. Location, I've chosen this track. A couple of different reasons really. We've got tree cover on both sides. Tree cover above us as well. Not that, you know, I'm hiding from any drones or whatnot, but you never know in the future, isn't it? And I can get in and out pretty quick. I've scouted down the bottom end, so there is an exit and there's nothing blocking the path. So another thing you're going to consider if you are camming up your vehicle and you need to bug out pretty quick, you don't want any obstructions in it. And if you do go down that track, there's no dead ends. So bear that in mind. So I've got clear escape behind me and in front, and I've got plenty of cover both sides and above. So I suppose that comes in with silhouette. So if you are going to park your vehicle or your camp, your tent, whatever it is, don't park it on the brow of a hill, because your silhouette will give it away. That shape is going to stand out. Camouflage is all about standing out. The naked eye and the human beings, they pick up things really easy, especially something that doesn't look in its place, something's odd. You know, you'll notice it without even thinking about it. You know yourself, if you're talking to someone and you're walking somewhere and someone catches your eye, you automatically look at it because your brain is built that way. So if you can eliminate that sort of first impression as such, where people are going past or vehicles going past, nothing catches their eye, then you blend in. You're never gonna totally blend in like Predator, isn't it, in the jungle? So you just got to do your best to eliminate those first things, initial things that catches people's eyes. Silhouette, more or less done. It's all about where you park your vehicle or pitch your camp, not to obviously stand out from a distance. Next thing is shine. Now, if you talk about yourself, you shine, didn't you? Right, so you obviously cam up your skin, but we're talking about the vehicles today, and the vehicle is no different. Look how shiny it is. You've got lots of different shiny things on the vehicle. You've got your windscreens, you've got your headlamps, you've got your wing mirrors, all sorts of things. So that'll be my first thing to do, is to eliminate the shiny things. Now, if you're totally prepared, you could pre-cut stuff to go over top of your headlamps or your windshield. You can use sniper tape it all up. That's a bit of a pain when you've got to take it all back off, isn't it? You could use things like scrim nets. You could tape them or tie them to the windscreen, like open wide out. It's not going to totally cover, obviously, all the glass in it. You can still see through it, but it will take that initial shine off. What I'm going to do is just take a cheap camouflage tarp. I don't know what it is, but 2.5 meters by 3 meters, something like that, and just drapes it over the front. That's going to cover the windscreen and hopefully the headlights and all that. So what I'm trying to do is cover the biggest problem areas, which is mainly the windscreen and the bonnet and all that palaver. So I'm going to do that first. Just chuck that over the windscreen, tie it off to the roof rack, and that should be job done. Number one, take care of shine. Now we've just attached this sheet with a couple of bungees onto the roof rack, and if you wanted to, get a couple of bungees on these corners and peg it down. If there's wind about, a bit blowy, I'd probably do that just to keep it in place, but it's pretty calm today, so I won't bother. So there's the initial stage, first stage done. Taking away the shine of that windscreen, isn't it? That's the biggest, shiniest part of the car, isn't it? That windscreen, especially if the sun hits it. Obviously the bonnet, your number plate, your lights, so they're all covered. Now at the back, I've got a 3x3 tarp. I'm going to set that as a plough point, so that'll cover the back area. That's for sleeping in, or if you're stopping for something to eat or whatever it is, you can do it at the back. So that'll cover that. So while I've done it as well, you also got to think about sound. So when you're putting your camouflage on, you don't want to be making too much noise. So keep the sound to a minimum, especially at night where it travels a lot further. And if there's a bit of a wind about, a bit of a breeze, because the noise will travel on the wind. So there we are, shine, a little bit of sound. Next thing, we're going to chuck the cam net over the top, and then we tackle shape. Right, so I covered the vehicle now in cam net. It's not quite big enough to do the job I want. That's why at the moment I'm making my own cam net up. I think it's 10 meters by 10 meters. I've got some UV protected nylon netting, and I've cut in a lot of this lightweight camouflage material up into little squares and triangles. I'll zip tie them on. So perhaps I'll do that in another video how I make it. But yeah, for this size vehicle, this cam net I got here, I think, I don't know what it is, 3 meters by 9, something like that. Not quite big enough to do the job I want. Never mind that, I've got it on and I've covered most of the vehicle. I've also got my little plough point tarp set out at the back. So what I'm going to do now is peg out the bottom of the net, and then we're going to look at shape. Right, so I pegged out the bottoms using bungees. Bungees is the way to go on something like this, because you'll see why in a minute. And bungees will allow that bit of movement, especially in the wind. You know, if there's a bit of wind and it's blowing the cam net about, so if you tie it nice and tight with string, band cord, paracord, you could damage the net, isn't it? Because you haven't got that bit of flexibility. Sorted out shine, silhouette, touch a bit on sound in me, keeping the noise levels down. So the next thing is shape. It's alright chucking the cam net over, pegging it out, but it's no good looking like a vehicle shaped piece of cam net. So the next thing we're going to talk about is shape. So in nature there's no vehicle shaped things or tent shaped things, not naturally anyway. So you've got to break up that shape. So how we achieve that is get some nice long poles now, and we're going to prop up the cam net. Nothing uniform, just a random lengths of poles and whatnot. Got to bear in mind of what you're using the cam net for. You might need pedestrian access through there if you're walking back and forth to the front or the back of the vehicles. Depending on what job you're doing. You don't want the poles too short where you've got to duck all the time, and you don't want them too long where they're going to lift all the cam net up and be exposed underneath. Get some poles. We used to have these things in the army, I can't remember what they're called. They're like dome things, like mushroom sort of shaped things that go on top of the poles. And we just propped the cam net up with these things and then form just a random shape. Like I say, it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be exactly the same as everybody else. It's all about breaking up that outline of the vehicle or tent or whatever you've got. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get my little belt kit on, go out into the woods, keep the noise level as quiet as I possibly can. No chainsaws this time. And get some poles, and then I'll show you how to break the shape up of this vehicle. Right, so I've got my sticks now, poles, all different lengths. And you notice, top of the poles, I haven't cut them dead straight. I've kept a little Y on. There's a couple of little branches, bit of foliage on the top. That's to aid lifting the cam net up. Obviously, if it's just one straight pole, it's going to go straight for the net, isn't it? That's why, like I said before, in the army you had these dome things going on top of the poles, like mushrooms. Obviously, holds the net up easier. So what I'm going to do now is break the shape up of the cam net by using the poles, just like this. Now you can, now the bottom of the poles you can stick in the ground, or you could position it so it's coming off the wheel, tree stump, whatever it is, just to hold it in place. If the cam net's pretty taut, it's going to stay there, isn't it? So I'm a bit of a play around now with my poles. Stick them around the outside of the vehicle, maybe on a few on the top, and just to break up that shape. Right, there we are, that's the poles up. Like I said before, all it's doing is breaking up that shape, that vehicle shape, or it could be the tent shape and whatever you're covering up. Cam net, I say it is a little bit small for this job. I like it to come over the front a lot more. It's a bit short on one side and it doesn't go over the back, but as I mentioned before, I am making a bigger cam net. This stuff is not cheap to buy. I don't know why, it's not much to it, but you know, a 3x3 piece of cam net, about 50 quid. But if you do see some for sale cheap, get it, because you can stitch some together. You'll zip tie it all together to make bigger sheets. So when you are going and cutting up poles, also bear in mind that don't clear one area. You'll take your poles from different parts of the woodland or hedgerow, wherever you're getting it from, because another part of obviously camouflage concealment, you don't want to look like you've been somewhere. You know, we've cleared, felled some trees, some poles, and it stands out. People will look at it and think, hang on, what's going on here? And they might investigate. So take a couple of poles from one area, a couple of poles from another. So it's just another thing to think about. Now, some of you say about foliage, why aren't you using foliage? Well, I've got a bit of foliage. You got a bit of hazel. Yes, you can use this. Put this round outside the vehicle on the bottoms, or cover any shiny bits, which I might go and do now. Just a couple of things you've got to bear in mind. One thing is, with foliage, you want to make sure you use the same foliage that's in the area. There's no good you're in a hedgerow and then you're covering it with ferns and there's no ferns about, so it's going to look odd, isn't it? Or you're in a pine forest and you're covering it with hazel. It's going to look odd. It's going to look out of place, isn't it? So that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider, when you put your foliage down, make sure it's the right way around. Right, the back side of the leaves is a lighter colour than the front, and it's going to stand out, isn't it? Plants, when they grow, they've got the one side always facing the sun, facing up or out. So you don't want to be putting your foliage round and it's the wrong way round. It's going to look odd. It's going to look out of place again, isn't it? So another thing that's going to catch someone's eye. You think, that doesn't look quite right. I'll go have a look at that. And again, the foliage, depending how long you're going to be in one location, it's going to wilt. It's going to wilt and then go all droopy and die. And then again, it's going to look out of place, isn't it? Everything else around it is living, and they've got a big pile of bloody foliage covering something which is all droopy and dead. So yeah, just a couple of things to bear in mind with foliage. But yeah, if you use it correctly, it aids your camouflage and concealment, doesn't it? That's it, job done. It's only a quick demo. If I was doing this obviously for real, perhaps I'd spend a bit more time, get a bit more foliage. I say hopefully have a bigger cam net. This net's probably big enough for a smaller car. But yeah, there we are, and I've got enough headroom to go on the side of the vehicle, underneath the net. This side I put a bit of foliage, because it's next to the road. The top. And then that side. Like I say, this side I could spend a bit more time, I'll get a bit more foliage, cover up the wheels. The backlight, I put something over the backlight. But that's pretty much it for that side. So I'll take the camera around now to the roadside and see if I can see it. I've had a few vehicles go up the road and no one's looked yet anyway, so must be doing a good job. So we're just going to go off the road. I said I'm pretty close to it, so if you're really looking you're going to see it. But all you've got to do is do enough to take that initial glance off, isn't it? So I'll walk the camera up the road and we'll see if you can see the truck. Now we walk down. I don't know if you can see it. Vehicle's here, look. You can see it. There's the cam net. Yeah, so even though we're really close to the road, unless you're really looking, you can't see it. I like going today, but I didn't have my glasses on. So there we are, guys. We've gone through our 7 S's. I think it should have been 6, but I don't know. I think I've added one. I can't remember. I say if you do know, or they've changed it altogether, let me know in the comments. But shine, we've done, haven't we? Covered all the shiny bits up. Shape, we put the cam net on, we've created a different sort of shape. Sound, noise level, keep that down to a minimum, isn't it? Especially if you're working on a vehicle. Don't have the radio blasting, obviously. The silhouette, where you position yourself or your vehicle or your tent, whatever it is, so you're not standing above a ridge line or brow of a hill, or wherever it is, it looks out of place. Sudden movement was always one, but that's more if you're camouflage concealment for yourself. Quick sudden movements, again, they don't look natural, do they? If you are going to move about, do it slowly. Look where you're going, make sure there's no trip hazards, you're not falling over, making a noise again. So a few things to consider there. Smell, if you are on the sticks, don't cover yourself in deodorant. Smell travels on the wind, doesn't it? So a few things to consider. I don't think there's anything else. Again, if you can think of anything else, let me know. Shape, shine, shadow, silhouette. Shadow is one, isn't it? Yeah, shadow. So if you are in a nice sunny environment, today, July is nice and sunny, even though we're in the trees. you do cast a shadow. So just be wary that you don't cast a massive shadow, and you can see it on the ground obviously. Do something to eliminate it, you know, move position, break up your shape a little bit more. There's certain things you can do. So that's it, guys. One thing I will point out, if you are going on the woods, especially this sort of woods, it's full of brambles, don't wear shorts like I did today. My legs look like they've been in a fight with an alley cat. I've got scratches everywhere, but there we are. We live and learn, don't we? So, if you do like the video, please think about liking and subscribing. Hit the notification bell, it's there. And if you want to check out some more videos, check that one out. And that one. And I'll catch you again next time. All the best.